No, that's the way you do it, digital.
Maybe I might. It sounds like a good idea.
And then you got if you're lucky enough to be able to use the MetalX uh, ecosystem, which I'm not. I wish I really was. You'd be able to play in all the DeFi. Have some things staked. Take advantage of loan. Jesus, these people that are holding XRP for years now, waiting for something to happen, they could take that XRP, borrow against it in the loan protocol, get some USDC, and now you don't give up your XRP position. You still got that XRP position, and you take that fucking USDC and you use it with your trading bag. You go and make some moves. Why not take advantage of it? Why not? If you know what you're doing, trading wise and whatnot, you take that large bag of XRP that you've been holding for 7 years or whatever it is, and you borrow against it.
Actually, you know what? The DEX for the people who are new, if you go to MetalX DEX and look at the documentation, learn how the order book works. They do a really good job explaining it. You don't have to be smart. It's easy to pick up. And the thing is, man, you can buy some, 10, 20, 30, 40 bucks at XPR and just use it. Start playing with it. Learn how to set a limit order. Learn how to set a stop loss order. Learn how to set a take profit order. Learn it
It's all
because
on chain too.
yeah, yeah. And you're still, the custody of your assets, even though you're not playing with anything big. But I don't know. I've always been one that I can read and understand, but I really like, pulling out the paintbrushes and making the paint and getting messy and learning it, because sometimes learning by mistakes is not the most efficient way, but if you fuck up, you'll remember. And it's better to fuck up losing cents or dollars than hundreds or thousands, And if you got time, this is something to learn how to do, because again, it's the future. It's
Yeah, there's no
inevitable.
decks like it. On-chain trading, no meme bots or front running like on Uniswap. I mean, literally every trade is on chain. You can look it up. There's nothing like that right now. Nothing. Straight
Yeah.
100% DeFi, but KYC, which is the future. You will all see all these dexes are gonna have to. What's up,
And they
Dark?
have. Oh.
How's it going, Bullish? Digital Assets, welcome back. Not seen you around for ages, and it's nice to jump into this room and hear you literally saying it how it was. That was pretty much nice to hear as well. And James, I don't know what the beef is. I have got no beef with you, buddy.
Oh
That is,
my man, you got we.
I
know there's a
He's
boxing
only
match
fucking
coming
with you.
up.
don't know. I was eating my sandwich and I know spat it out when I heard you guys saying that. I was like, what? Wait, somebody need to inform me something.
No, I was making shit up. I just
Digital
it's all
does
jet.
that. Keeps everyone on edge.
Well, I've eaten. I thought I'd pop up and say hello, guys. In fact, Tony, mate, today you have been on fire with these goddamn memes today. I think the last one I just saw was Baby Zach pushing a mower.
That little guy pushing the mower. In fact, Tony
I'm
chugging a
watching it
beer.
now. It's fucking funny.
Mate, they are fire.
Hey, Dark Horse, I ordered that meme. He made that one special for me.
I can see why you're saying we're a gift that keeps on giving at the moment, aren't we, Tony? I can see that.
So, what'd you find for us today, Dark Horse? I see you
Well,
found
I
some
was
on Washington State.
Yeah, Washington DC released their latest crypto licenses, and as I was scrolling through the agreed licenses, there was Metallicus Inc. in that list, and I was like, "Oh, that's going to be a worthy share for you guys, because that's quite a notarization, isn't it, for Washington DC to have you actually licensed there, right?"
Nah, I don't mean shit.
So this
Don't
was
pay any attention to it.
Was
It
this
doesn't sound
Dark Horse, I just gotta to warn you, but you probably know. Digital's a big fisherman, right? And he's got a big fucking rod.
hey yo,
Koka, I
pause.
don't think that come across as you intended, man.
Yeah, I was about to say one. Digital.
No, you know what I mean.
It's nice. It's nice to know your friends know you got a big rod, but I'm not that type of guy.
Yeah, he loves fishing, man. He'll reel you in. He gets me all the time, motherfucker.
Maybe you should have finished with that reeling in bit because that just sounded a bit,
Yeah, I know.
Was
Ambiguous.
this wasn't a money transmitting license, right? What was it exactly?
It's the ability to do on ramping and off ramping with inside of Washington DC, isn't it? That's the actual crypto license itself. I was
Was
actually
there
going
anyone
to.
else on there
I was
notable?
actually. See, this is what I was actually coming into this room to find out if you guys had actually got more information on it. So I could actually, because as much as I was trying to deep dive the actual license itself, there's not actually that much information on Metallicus Inc. in Washington.
I'm gonna ask him what exactly it is because how many more?
So, do you mean it's like the big license in New York? Is that what
See,
you mean?
see, I highlighted the ones that I recognized. There was a couple more in there that I recognized as well, but I didn't highlight because otherwise some of the sheet would have just been pure yellow. But just highlighted some of the big ones to kind of show. And I know that a lot of them are on ramps and off ramps for Binance, Binance, Crypto.com. They're the on ramps and off ramps for Uphold as well. Let me. Do you want me to post? Can I post it up at the top, Koka?
Yeah, of course, man. Yeah, everyone can do whatever.
Mate, I always ask, mate. I always ask because the amount of times I've been in rooms where you got spammed with shit, and I mean literally.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Well, I
James
think
James
people
might
are.
come after you. Watch out, Dark Horse.
Oh, he
Dark
will.
Horse, Jen just
Hello.
messaged me a correction. She said it's Washington State, West Coast, not Washington, D.C.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Washington State. My bad. I actually wrote it on my tweet here. So Washington State released its full license crypto payments, and Metallicus is listed. And I've put I've put it there for you as well. I've put the link there for you so you can click on it yourself and find it yourself.
Hey, I have one comment on that because I looked at your post, Dark Horse. That's good. I want to say you're like one of the guys that will dig for information and share it and don't like claim that it's all fact or whatever, because sometimes you're like, hey guys, check this out, what do you think, there's more to it, whatever. But anyways, kudos to you because you're a rare bull. Anyways, in that list it was like all November of 2023, and this is supposed to be the big month of who really truly is ISO 222 compliant. And I don't want to make this about that because we don't really care about that shit anymore. And we've already seen XPR actually doing ISO 222 transactions. But anyways, yeah, that's in that list. That's a pretty important date. So we'll see what happens from that.
See,
Probably not.
I don't understand why it was actually put out for review either, because, like I say, there's not. I didn't see anything related to crypto on the Washington State. Sorry, Washington. I said Washington DC earlier. Washington State's website. It was just there, available for everybody to be able to download. And when you have a look at quite a lot of these on ramps and off ramps, like you recognize quite a few of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's Bitstamp, BitPay, Gemini. I mean, the one that I recognized was Skrill, because Skrill is the payment for Binance. And then you've got a couple there that are going to be that are currently bankrupt right now, Cash Cloud and West Realm. But yeah,
Who's the
how did
rail for
Metallicus get
Binance?
on this list?
Who's the rail
Skrill
for
Sorry,
Digital.
Binance?
Skrill.
Skrill.
Skrill?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I don't use Binance. I think they're sketchy as fuck.
But what does this mean for you guys, for Metallicus, to actually be up there with? I mean, that's a pretty comprehensive list, A to Z. There's nobody missing. It's not like as if it's half a list. There's not many actual players on that.
I think it's cool. It adds credibility in Metallicus, but it didn't do anything to price. And I'm not in it for price. I'm in it for the. I mean, I am in it. Everybody's in here to make money, right? Don't fool ourselves. But the reality is, like Bullish and I say, we're a long ways away, man. We got you. I mean, you said it like I mentioned earlier in your post about stable coins. When the laws come down, 90% of the shit's gonna be wiped out. But we're a ways from it. I think it's cool to mention, but it's like, okay, just add another check or whatever, maybe some credibility, but it's no game changer. It's not changing our lives today.
No, but that's exactly what it is, digital. This is why I love this company so much. They're not trying to get in quick, make a quick buck and leave. They're putting everything they got towards compliance. I mean, if you look at their banking advisory board, like they're deep, and that's what's pushing this company forward. They're preparing for regulations. They want to be legit. They're not just, you know, trying to make a quick cash grab. So seeing this, everyone in the community is just like, yeah, business as usual. This is what this company does. They never stop when it comes to compliance. MTLs, not the bank that's eventually going to come in. Like they are doing everything towards compliance. And I, 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 I sent a message to Marshall to see exactly what this is, and just waiting for his response. So I'll let you know, Dark Horse.
You mentioned it, Bullish. You mentioned that word again, bank. How is the bank actually going, Bullish?
Well, as you know, it's not easy to just buy a bank and then boom, you got it the next day. They're going through them, they're going through the steps. And last we spoke to him, he said he's trying to shoot for the end of the year, beginning of next year. And when it is available, it's just going to be a boring bank. It's not going to be connected to the ecosystem or anything just yet, because they still have to go through all the compliance stuff. So basically lining up with the cycles, as I said before, the BTC halving is April, May. Then you got a couple months after that to formulate a bull market. So if it's done by let's just say beginning of next year, it stays a boring bank for that year, which is lining up with the cycle because April, May is the
Yeah.
halving, and then you got about 6 months after that for a bull market. So it should be perfect. But last we heard was end of year, beginning of next year. They're waiting. They're going through the steps, which is not easy. They've been
See, this
working
is
on
why.
this for years, this acquisition.
See,
Dark Horse, just to
this is why I was
clarify.
really excited. Sorry, go for it, James.
Yeah, just to clarify, right? There's a mid-step as well. They're actually working with they're looking to work with another banking partner in between, because as Bullish said, there's like they need to make that stepping stone, and then you have the bank they want to acquire, which is under FBBT Holdings, which is a separate legal entity to Metallicus. So then they have the TradFi and the DeFi technology company, which is Metallicus. And once there's clarity, they want to merge those two worlds. So they basically have ownership of the whole rather than at that point being reliant on another bank.
See, there's a couple of questions there. Can I ask some? There's not actually listed in there, so that's not money licensing. That's something that's more to do with the actual payments. I think that's more to do with payments on ramping and off ramping. In regards to the bank side of things, this is the reason why I was excited about Fortress Trust going to XRP, right? But then with Albert Faulkner, but that kind of fell through. So they're not going to be getting a bank anytime soon with that. You guys are the only ones that actually currently own a bank right now, right? Because you've already done the buying of the bank. It's more to do with the licensing and everything around the bank, isn't it, James? In Bullish?
No, I wanna be clear. The acquisition is to be completed Q4 this year or Q1 next. It is
Right.
not. They've gone through a lengthy process, but it is not finalized. I do not want to spread misinformation and say it's a done deal, because it's not.
They've been working on
So
this since 2016ish, 2015ish, when they first,
exactly.
popped up on the scene. You don't just go out and buy a bank, man. It's this extensive,
Why
background
not?
checks and paperwork, man. It's been
I
going.
thought it was easy as hell, man. I thought you could
Oh
just pick up
yeah.
a bank like you can buy a house.
If that was the case, then why wouldn't these top players in the game have them, like Ripple and all these others, with a gigantic freaking bankroll escrow? They'd go out and buy a bank right now and just be legit and work with all the supposedly banking partners that they have, but they're not. It's not easy to just go out and buy a bank, man. And they've been working on this for a while now. So, plus on top of all
And
the
keep in
MCLs and
mind
all.
why they've been working on this. The staff that they have and the advisory board and the council that they got from people from FDIC, from the OCC, from different branches of the Federal Reserve. They have very, very, very good counsel and guidance with lots of knowledge in the banking industry. And if they're doing this slow and it's taking this long, you can bet they're doing things right. Every roadblock they come into, they're expecting a battle and they're preparing for it. And that's like exact words that Irina told us one time in a space, is that that's why they have these people with that pedigree long as a mile from the finance and banking industry, is because when they go to take two steps forward and regulation or compliance or laws, block them, smack them in the face, they go back to their team and they say, this, here's what's going on. How do we get around this? And they're like, nah, that's bullshit. This is how you do it. That's how you get around it.
Look
So
up top. Check out their advisory board. I posted it up top. It's no joke. There's also another one that was an older post. There's another guy that just came on there too. But man, their advisory board: Citibank, New York Federal Reserve, Boston Federal Reserve, BNY Mellon, Federal Reserve. There's so many on there, man, and it's all driven towards banking and compliance. And you heard Digital talk about their compliance officer. It's all, it's a long play for them. They're getting all their ducks in a row for regulations. They're not. They want to be here for the long haul. And then with Metal Blockchain, as far as I know, they're the only chain that's BSA compliant. Find me another chain, because I've yet to find one. Bank Secrecy Act.
That is what compliant? Bullish?
No, they are BSA compliant, which is the Bank Secrecy Act. Metal
Ah,
Blockchain. Find another chain that is, and I'll look into it, because I've yet to find one. So like and Metal, as far as taking XPR, making it the A chain on Metal. Metal is going to be, the chain that hosts layer ones. And I know I tell you this all the time, but they're setting up to white label things for banks. So once Metal Blockchain's up, they'll be able to create L1s for these banks. I'm just using an example. Citibank, they want an L1, any tech they want. They want EVM, AVM, it doesn't matter. They will create it for them on a Metal subnet, and then they can go and make their decks, Citibank loan. They can create and customize it every way they want. That is truly their main goal. And what they built now with MetalX and that whole platform, which is on XPR, and then XPR is soon to go on Metal as the A chain. So think of side chains. For Metal, they're called subnets or subchains, but they're built directly into the chain. So no bridges, no oracles to and from mainnet. You are on Metal and you're not leaving the walled garden, because we know banks. We know bridges and oracles. Nothing but hacks. Banks
yeah.
won't touch it with a fucking 10-foot pole. So it's they're serious, man. They really, really are serious.
We're just having a look at Metallicus on LinkedIn right now this minute. Looking at Donald Burke, Chief Operating Officer and board member of Metallicus, DeFi.
No. Look at who I just posted on there.
Donald's the COO.
Well, according to LinkedIn, yep, he is the COO, and he comes from the Director of Product Management and Strategy for Enterprise Banking. And he comes from the Benefit Payments and Treasury Management Products. And he was an IBM systems engineer. Always comes back to IBM. Always comes back to
Hey,
IBM.
There you go.
Can
That's you, right? You're an IBM guy.
can you guys
Always
hear me?
comes back. Yes,
I
sorry.
can hear you
Check
digital, but
out
it ain't digital.
what I just put up top. Hit that LinkedIn account and go see who that guy is. Scroll down on his history. It's like the third or fourth job down.
But Dark Horse, they've got former comptrollers and stuff on the advisory team as well. And
No,
unless you're
listen.
heading in the right direction and you have the right connections to make things happen, those people are not going to sit on your advisory board because they're not going to take that risk by association. They're just going to laugh you out the building. So
Listen.
the very fact that those people are willing
Exactly.
to entertain is testament, because those guys will know and see things and they will say, oh, wow, hang on a minute. These guys are going places. Yeah, I'll be the advisor for that because that'll look good on my resume. But if they don't think it's going places, they're not going to touch it.
You've
Right.
been to my lives, James. You've been to my lives. I always say the LinkedIn profiles, if they got to pass the sniff test, if they've got a resounding career to begin with, then all of a sudden they go into blockchain and they're not going to ruin their career. They're not going to ruin what they've built over the past few years just to go into a scammy little rug pull, are they?
You're
So if they've
100%
got,
right, Dark Horse. Look at the
I
link I
disagree,
put
man.
up
They're
there.
going to
Look at
ape
this
me
guy.
Shiba.
This guy's working for Metallicus now. His name's Nicholas Advent. He's a
I'm
lead
I'm looking
compliance
I'm
and
looking at
privacy.
Nicholas Evant. I'm looking at him, and I see what you're seeing. Is Special Agent, Federal Bureau of Investigation, and his skills is the U.S. Patriot Act, fraud
No,
analysis.
yeah. He also developed, implemented, and oversaw process improvements, including automated transaction monitoring systems, updates to AML policies and procedures,
Yeah, it's got
led privacy and anti-money laundering compliance analyst with 7 years experience in both cryptocurrency and traditional fiat payment platforms. My
good, man.
background as both an attorney and FBI special agent provides subject matter expertise in all stages of an investigation. Experienced in overseeing transaction monitoring, case investigations, regulatory filings, and quality assurance. Skilled in use of blockchain forensic tools such as chain analysis and elliptic. Created and maintained investigation guides, desktop procedures, guidance materials, and SAR templates. This is the kind of people working for Metallicus.
On
Yeah,
top of all the building, nobody's got more commits on GitHub than this company. So why haven't you downloaded WebAuth yet?
well, after what Crypto Ricky did in that live the other night, mate, I'm a bit worried to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. That
We
was
do not subscribe to any of that shit that he says. That's why
yeah,
I
but
remained it quiet. He's trying to bring the esoteric shit into it, which is fine. That's
it's
great.
not.
But
I tell you what, Bullet.
when Marshall
It,
tells you over and over, I have no affiliation with X Springs, and you're hearing it from the horse's mouth, but you're still continuing to push it, I don't understand that. I love Ricky. He knows that. But time in and time out, Marshall has told him in the group. He's even posted it on his post a couple hours ago. I have no affiliation with Ripple. I know them, sure, but no affiliation. But and it just keeps going. I don't understand it, and that sucks because now he's turning people, off to it like you. I just
Oh,
Right.
but come on, guys. Dark Horse is intelligent enough to pierce through that nonsense. Like, there's no tomorrow. I mean, this is a
No,
big thing.
James.
You,
Let, let me
you
let, let me explain the reason why I bring up Brother Ricky was the fact that he was literally listing out people's wallets of who's actually on the system, who's actually
Oh, yeah, that's a legit complaint. Yeah, that's not cool. That's like
that to me was internally doxing, then showing out to everybody that everybody was on there, and that really put me off. If I'm honest with you, that side of things was not cool. That was not cool. You can say all that shit that you was talking about with XRP and XPR being joined and all that sort of stuff. That's just down to internal like you got to go do your research, right? But when
yeah.
you're actually doxing
Dark Horse,
people's
hold on a
wallets,
second. So just
but
that was a
but
bit
I
if you
just
don't
want
know,
to
for the
touch on
WebAuth,
that.
you know that when you KYC, you don't have to put when you KYC, you put your real name and stuff, but you can pick and choose what you want to be on the public ledger, what people see. So
Yeah,
like, you can
I
go
would
look
have
at
a
one of my
suggestion
wallets,
for
and
you
I
there,
got
Dark Horse. Just go and make the wallet and call it Light Horse or White Horse. No one will ever know it's you.
yeah. Actually,
call it Rainbow
I
Horse,
guess he
please,
was
Dark Horse. Be
trying
on
to
brand.
showcase the fact that, oh, Crypto Hulk has a wallet, Darren Moore has a wallet, and a couple others. I guess he was just trying to like showcase the fact that look, they're pushing XRP publicly, but secretly they got metal accounts and whatnot. But anyway, that shit shouldn't put you off. Like James said, you're a smart guy. Ricky has no affiliation with
I
Metallicus, the company, so you're a
I have
crazy
I
I
researcher.
literally
So
bullish.
I
I
uphold
get
I uphold
why
in.
Dark Horse might be concerned the way it was put across, as if like there was this database of names. Like, it was not clear that you could have a username that was like, I don't know, Pink Penguin or something crazy, right? And the AML KYC part is behind that. So like, I think it was a bit of the communication problem as well. But yeah, Dark Horse, long story short, you can go to WebAuth, you can call your username on the public front end, whatever you want, nobody's going to know. I have multiple wallets. If you go to Proton Scan, you put in James Barnett, you can see that. But I'm not going to hold anything of significant value in there because anyone can go in there and see it. So actually, this is what people should actually do is they should spread things out as well for not having a single point of failure. And for those security, concerns and risks. You can call it whatever you want. That's your business.
and picture, you can put up whatever picture you want and call it whatever ad name you want. And you could make it
Interesting.
it's the same thing as if you go make a checking account in a bank. The bank has all your information. Nobody else has it, right? They might know you have an account there, but that's it. They're not gonna know what's in the account. And the only people would know is like if the FBI or somebody wanted to go to the bank and say, we want to look at this account number and what it's doing, who's behind it, and all that. It's the same thing. You can make it discreet so people can't. If they try to dox you, they don't know who you are. They won't find anything out. And just like James said, you can make a couple wallets.
yeah, the KYC is to use any product built by Metallicus. However, the chain itself is permissionless, but no one really there's no one really else building on the chain yet. So 95% of all the stuff built is by Metallicus, but
I
we'll
gotta
see how
go,
that.
friends. I gotta take my granddaughter go get some ice cream. You guys have a good night, good day.
See
Ciao.
you, Digital. Thanks.
All right,
Digital
peace.
assets. Take it easy, buddy.
Thanks, Digital.
And if you need a new logo, Dark Horse, I will make you a Light Horse one so nobody knows who you are. No
Yeah,
There's
problem.
that's
already a
not
light
happening.
horse. Yeah, there's already
Oh,
a light horse already copied me already. He's literally inverted my
really?
picture and then created
I
an
saw
account
it.
on
Oh,
Twitter.
wow.
I saw it. Yeah, I
Oh,
saw it.
Dark Horse, I think you should be Rainbow Horse, and then everyone will think you're paid by Metallicus.
oh, God, no. No rainbows, please. Sorry.
Again,
Orphan.
this comes back to digital assets, Big Rod again, doesn't it?
Well, no comment on that. I'll defer to Koka. He seems to be experienced in this area.
So, guys,
Metal
what's the
service.
next on the agenda for Metallicus? What are you guys actually developing next?
Well, Marshall mentioned on the space that there's plans around an L2. So for me, I think that's going to be a big thing, because that's the bridge with the Ethereum mainnet and the L2 ecosystem. And
That's the
for me,
trend
that's
too, right?
critical. Yeah, exactly. That's critical because it's
Mm-hmm.
bridging Ethereum mainnet, which has the vast majority of liquidity in the industry, with the Metal blockchain ecosystem. And that's what you need to happen.
Absolutely.
All the successful chains support EVM, and they have that bridge and that gateway for that liquidity to flow in.
Mm-hmm. It's the trend right now. You know, you got base and all these. It's definitely the trend right now. It's one of the only things that this ecosystem doesn't really have yet. So you bring that in. I mean, there's nothing it won't have after that. And then he also said the migration to A chain is coming soon too. He told me that about, I think it was last week. Or so that,
How are
that
you
should be
doing
fun.
a
B
walled garden
chain.
around the EVM?
B chain is already done. So I just don't, they're waiting for that to be launched. Say that again, Dark Horse.
How are you doing a walled garden around an EVM?
How do you do it? So on Metal blockchain, the C chain is the EVM chain. It's on its, it's on its own subnet.
There you go. That's how you do it.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's already there, man.
And B chain's
So,
done too. He said Glenn coded up B chain and it's ready. They're just waiting for a strategic time to launch it. That's going to be crazy. B chain is a virtualized instance of Bitcoin. It'll be on its own on its own subchain, B chain. And then I don't know what's
Yeah.
going on with D chain. D chain is going to be the Dogecoin chain, but he's still working with the foundation to figure that all out. That
it's
should be cool.
happening. Bullish is happening.
Oh yeah, I know. I just don't know like when he's gonna drop it. You know what I mean? I don't know
Well,
if he's gonna
that's
do
what
A
he's
chain
working out.
first. Being that B chain's done already, like when are they gonna strategically drop them? You know?
Here's a prediction for you, and it's just a prediction, just an idea. I think the B chain comes between 6 and 8 weeks before the halving.
That'd be nice.
Mm. Be smart too, I reckon.
I
Please
mean,
hurry up with the ChatGPT bullish. I'm going to need
say it
help.
again. Say it
I
again.
said, please hurry up with this ChatGPT. I'm going to need help.
Yes, it's coming soon, man. That thing's almost ready. If they wouldn't
So that
stop locking me out, man, I would be done already. But I'm going over my character limit with all the fucking code that I'm uploading to it. So should be
so
ready soon.
Hey,
But it
Bullish,
is
Darko, let me use an
here's
analogy for you. Metal blockchain is
the
a
land.
it's the land, right? But there's a finite amount of land because you need metal for the subnets, right? And you have like the primary network, and in the primary network's four chains. C chain, which is EVM, contract chain, the X chain, which is for like tokenization of assets and all of that, the P chain, which is for consensus validation, which is basically the layer zero path, which keeps
Subchain.
the entire thing ticking over. And then you have the A chain in the primary network, which is XPR network, which is all where all the regulated DeFi stuff is going to happen. Now, let's think of that as like, I don't know, the main hub, District 1. Another bank comes along and, they want to build their stuff on plot 2. And another bank comes along and they want to build it on plot 3. And they can connect to the main hub because they would want to do that. So basically what you're building out on Metal blockchain is this empire of L1s that are being hosted on the main chain. Now, when you say, why would you want a walled garden? Well, if you think about this Metal blockchain having like a huge wall around it, like a border, they would need to get through that border first. So like, let's say breaking into the United Kingdom or the US, come through the border. And then XPR network, where you have all the financial stuff, they would need to breach that as well to get to anything of any meaningful value. And this is where you have the double layer of fortified security.
Which is 82% parameterized.
Correct. So that's what they have, and then I believe the L2, like this is an assumption, will be on the C chain plus Ethereum mainnet. So you come from the Ethereum mainnet highway into this like ecosystem, this empire. So imagine the M25, you drive off it and you come into like London or wherever, right? And you got all these different districts. Same principle. You come off the Ethereum like M25 and you bridge into the MetalBlockchain ecosystem. And you go to subnet, maybe there's a subnet for gaming, maybe there's a subnet with this bank, or you go to XPR network and do all your regulated DeFi stuff. And this is the difficult thing, like even over on the Avalanche side, people don't realize that Avalanche and Metal are multi-chain systems. They're not layer ones, they host layer ones. So that's the big difference.
So what's the difference between you and Avalanche?
Good question.
Basically, going to be the A chain is going to be the difference. So, like James said, um, Avalanche. I'm sorry. He said there are four primary sub chains or subnets, whatever you want to call them, on Metal. On Avalanche, there are three. So the difference and why it's different is because they're doing something that's never been done before with the A chain, and they're basically taking Avalanche and souping it up. So by how do I explain this? So basically, you're familiar with WASM, right? A little bit. I don't want to confuse you like too much, but you're familiar. I know you're familiar with WASM. So A chain or XPR is a fork of EOS.io. So with it's so hard to explain it, but with hold on one second. I know what I can do to explain it better. I'll just say it from the fucking
So
horse's mouth. Hold on.
that goes. The A chain is based on EOSIO, and what they've done is like during DeFi summer with Avalanche on the C chain, you had congestion because you had all the trading activity on Trader Joe. Pretty much everything happened on there, right? So gas fees
Seized
went
up.
up, etc., etc. They have compartmentalized the DeFi use cases onto the A chain. So they have a DEX on there that's regulated. They have a lending/borrowing protocol, streaming payments, OTC, etc. And this isolates that activity away, but it's also gasless, so you don't have the gas problem. So you come in, you want to do all your trading on a daily basis. When you already have to pay trading fees, the last thing you want to do is get fucked over on gas every 5 minutes. You know, if you're a day trader, right? Playing the highs, playing the lows. So that is optimal for a regulated DeFi environment. The other differentiators are the partnerships. I'm big in Avalanche because I see the potential of that ecosystem. MetalBlockchain and Metallicus are really going down the banking, credit union, all the financial fintech kind of partners that they want to enable for that industry. AVAX, yeah, they're doing some finance stuff, but the vast majority of their stuff is entertainment, gaming, etc. They've got huge partnerships out in Asia for entertainment and gaming. So, like in my mind, the reason I'm bullish on both of these is they both hook into the Ethereum mainnet. Avalanche is like your Disney, your Hollywood, etc., etc. MetalBlockchain is your financial district like Wall Street, etc., etc. So if you want to do all your entertainment, gaming stuff, you come off Ethereum mainnet. You go over to AVAX, you do everything you want to do there. Play Shrapnel, any other game, etc., etc. Now, there could be in the future a direct connection between AVAX and MetalBlockchain, and that'll probably happen at some point. But you could also come back onto Ethereum and down to MetalBlockchain, so like off ramp, on ramp, and do all your financial stuff over on MetalBlockchain. And this is why, I see the importance of Ethereum being that highway, and I'm bullish on both ecosystems because they're both multi-chain systems that are targeting two very different audiences, and I think they're both going to win.
Yep. Basically, C Chain on Avalanche was way too slow to host all their DeFi, their Trader Joe and everything. Like James said, it's seized up. So Metallicus was watching that during DeFi summer when they were scoping out tech to build Metal Blockchain. They loved everything about AVAX, like James said, but they didn't like the fact that C Chain, their EVM chain, which was hosting all their DeFi, was way too slow. So they're like, well, we already have XPR network and it's EOSIO. Let's take the best from the Avalanche Snowman protocol, AVM, and EOSIO, combine them seamlessly, which is what they're working on right now, to be the WASM subchain that'll host all the DeFi on a chain that's currently 4,000 TPS. But once they combined it with the AVM, which is the tech that Metal uses, the Avalanche virtual machine, Snowman protocol, with the WASM, once they launch it, it's going to be the fastest time to execute in all of blockchain. There's not going to be anything faster execution wise. And it'll be able to handle the load of all the DeFi with no problem. And like James said, nobody wants to be playing in DeFi where they have to make all these different transactions and keep paying a transaction fee and get slowed down because everyone's using it. And then the transaction fee goes up, the time to execute goes up. Now you'll never have a problem because it can handle the load. It can handle that whole little bubble of DeFi on that one chain and free transactions. Boom, there's your major difference. 4 primary subchains instead of 3. And that fourth one is a monster for DeFi. Monster.
Yeah, but it's also the partnerships and everything as well, because like tech is one thing, but if you don't have the partnerships and the access to turn those, turn that technology into real use cases and services that are going to bring a return on investment, doesn't matter. But they have them, and they're listed on the websites, and it's all happening.
Do
They
you
all.
know the big partnerships that James is talking about, Dark Horse? Have you
No, I
looked
said
into
this
those
to you
partnerships?
yesterday, didn't I? I said this to you yesterday. I don't hear much about the partnerships actually coming
Oh
out
my
of
God.
XPR at the moment.
Well, you haven't been
Go
on their
for it.
site and you obviously haven't been following them because they've been posting it nonstop. They've got Jack Henry, which is gigantic in the banking sector, talking about core banking. They have Temenos, which Darren Moore from the XRP community was all ecstatic about and he posted about it. And they got Fiziv. 3 major players in the banking sector where Metallicus is on their platform for all the people in the banking world to see. Major partnerships. Major. You got to look into them, especially Jack Henry.
I was literally on the Terminos website earlier as you was
Mm.
talking, and it showed Metallicus on there.
Yep. Check out, and then you have Fiserv, which they're looking to work with their A chain for the ACH system. That's another thing we don't really talk about much because they're not really giving too much information on it. But the reason why they partnered up with them is for the ACH system and their A chain that they're creating, which could definitely handle the load. So
It's
these 3 major players
with
are
Clover
all
bullish.
core banking.
Bullish. It's with Clover of Fiserv, right? For all the payment terminals for
Yes,
merchants
yes.
and
There's
everything to
another
do
one.
that.
There's another one, Clover. I forgot about that.
And then the Jack Henry one is with J Exchange, which hooks into the Silver Lake system. and there's a huge number of clients, and that all interplays with like Salesforce. So, and that's stuff that they're working on now. Now, obviously, Darko, you know as well as I do, right? Like the intricate details of these engagements. We're going to hear about the partnership being formed, and then maybe some news about the outcome and things like this, and stuff actually manifesting on chain. We're not going to hear about the stuff that's all behind the veil of an NDA. But like this is stuff that's happening because it's on the websites, and the people have come out from the companies, and it stayed up. And even with the Fed now stuff,
Glad
like
you can
people
talk
are
about
saying,
Fed now either, James.
yeah, well, even with the Fed now, people go, oh, it was taken down. It's like, no company's going to risk their reputation by putting that up there and then it not actually manifesting, because reputation's everything.
Yep.
So you become the laughing stock of the industry if you start making false claims like of that magnitude. It's happening. It's just the time and the place. There was no blockchain companies that were on an updated list. Even Tassat, which don't have a token, they're the other blockchain company doing private ecosystems. They were removed because the first implementation of the system wasn't doing anything with blockchain. It'll come in the next wave, which
Here's
to
the
me
thing.
Are
makes
So
these
total sense.
are
no
these proof of
bank.
concepts? Are they testing out proof of concepts, or are they actually going to be running through the systems? Is it? I mean,
Well,
we hear a lot about proof of concepts at the moment for the banks because I think that's the legal way they can do what they're doing without incurring the wrath of regulations. Is that another reason why they're probably not saying this stuff out loud?
well, what? So no major bank or any bank for that matter or financial institution is going. They don't want to be involved with blockchain publicly right now until there are clear rules of the road regulations. That's common sense. Everyone knows that. So, a lot of it's hush hush. As far as proof of concepts, each partnership is different. So the Jack Henry one, it's basically they're on their platform, which has a gigantic reach around the world for banking services. So they're on that platform. Same goes for Temenos. The Pfizer one is a little different because they're working with them for Clover and the ACH payment system on a chain. We have not seen no proof of concepts yet because all three of these partnerships are very, very fresh. They're just announcing them. I posted up top something Digital wrote about all three of them, which is big, but it's hard right now with no regulations, no bank or institution wants to be associated with blockchain until there really are clear rules of the road. So a lot of this shit is hush hush, as you know, I mean, you see the IMF and the BIS doing things, but that's on their own. They're not connecting to no other public chain. They're putting out their own proof of concepts. You know what I mean? But yeah, as far as any type of proof of concept, there's nothing out there yet. These partnerships are fresh. The only thing possibly would be the Pfizer one, but as of now, they haven't put
There's
anything
stuff,
out
bullish.
with proof of
There's stuff
concepts.
actively being worked on. We're just not going to hear
Yeah,
about it.
yeah,
Like
of course.
people,
That's what I'm trying to tell them.
the,
There's no really proof of concepts out right now.
Well,
So
Bullish, just to add what you guys are saying here, just to kind of cover exactly what you're saying, I've got a video clip of Congressman Davidson saying that the banks have been building, banks have been spending a lot of money in, but they've had to stop because the rules and regulations for the OCC kind of expired. So there's kind of proof that they're already building these sort of things and they're working on this. They just can't actually physically use it yet because the regulations aren't out for them to actually go forward with it. So
right,
I hear what you say, but I hear what
on
both
their
of you are
own
saying.
though. On their own.
but
Like this is shit that I push all the time. These banks want their own chains. They don't want to deal with public chains or anything. They want their own shit, which is why Metallicus is white labeling things on metal for them. Like no, they don't want to go on the XRP Ledger mainnet or the Solana mainnet. They don't want none of that. They don't want to connect to it. They want their own separate chains. I mean, it's obvious at this point.
Solana will end up a virtual machine on Metal and Avalanche because it uses sea level, and you can just basically virtualize that adapter so it uses Snowman. And then if someone comes along and say, oh, we have a use case whereby, let's say, their clients or people they're working with are using Solana, right? So they want that for interoperability purposes. You say, okay, we can deploy this virtual machine, and you can do that in a matter of minutes. Like once you know how to do it, you can deploy an L1 on MetalBlockchain and Avalanche in like next to no time. And this is what's going to happen. Like in the same way when you go to AWS and all of these, and you deploy a certain version of Linux or a certain version of Windows, and then like a server version, and then you go in there and you put like cPanel on there, etc. Whatever you want to do, is going to be exactly the same. They'll come along, they'll tell Metallicus, these are our needs. Then they'll say, oh, the AVM is the right choice for you and your needs. And they'll take them through a managed service, help them deploy it. Now, for others, they might have, if a client comes along and all their tech is EVM, then the decision is kind of made for them. So they'll say, oh, we need EVM to interplay smoothly with the EVM tech stack that we're already working with and all our vendors. And Metallicus will say, okay, no problem. We'll deploy a version of EVM. It's 4,500 TPS, super fast. Off you go. And that's the real power of it. It's like whatever the client wants, they can deploy it.
Yep. Virtualizing subnets. That's the way to go, man. You know, a man from AVAX, creating this chain was probably the best thing, for this space. And it's so underrated. It's not even funny. Go ahead, Scott. I know you got some information on Clover or Pfizer for something. What's up?
You read my mind, bullish, but I just wanted to bring up that Dark Horse, if you wanted to research these partnerships a little bit more, you can go to the MetalBlockchain website on their press releases, but also Temenos, Fiserv, and Jack Henry have also on their separate websites have acknowledged the partnership with MetalBlockchain. I'm in my car right now. I can't post those, but I'm sure any of the speakers could pass along those links just for your further research there. That's all I had.
Yeah, they posted it on their Twitter. I did see that. I'll try to bring it up, but I'm also
All
coding
good,
all that
guys.
into the GPT.
I already sent it to Light Horse. He's got it. Maybe Dark Horse can get it off him.
Also, with compliance
You joke,
aspect
but that
of
is
it.
one annoying account. I'm telling you now, that is one annoying account. He stole everything. Koka, I just put that video up there. I hope you don't mind, buddy. It's
No,
the of
man.
Congressman
No.
Davidson.
Hey, if you're a speaker, guys, do whatever you want, and we have the mute control if you get real crazy. But all good. It's open mic.
It's
Go
just
ahead.
the reason why I that is important. What he said about the fact that the banks had been building and the banks had done the R&D, and then all of a sudden they got shut down because the OCC rules and regulations expired. That kind of says a lot, and I think it was one of the listened to on the OCC's meeting with Congress in the US.
Yeah, I gotta check
Because
that out when I stop driving.
I think that kind of puts into perspective quite a lot of the things that are being built by the banks with the NDAs and everything else, that they've already kind of got all this stuff ready built.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, they were shut down because of regulation.
Yeah.
I
If
mean,
you
that's all
think
I ever preach, man, is that the banks are coming in, whether we like it or not. The SEC is paving the way for them right now. It's ridiculous.
I can't wait, mate. I can't wait, because at the end of the day, stable coins are going to go through the roof in terms of what is it at the moment? We've got $100 billion in stable coins at the moment, if you just take into account USDC and USDT. But can you imagine when they actually want to just keep their money actually in the system? That stable coin amount will go through the roof, which is another reason why I was asking you about your basket bullish. Yeah, yesterday. Was it yesterday? when I was talking about your stable coins and trying to see how you was actually going to get around the new stablecoin regs with the basket approach.
Yes, yes, I remember. One-to-one backing. What you see in there now with, USDC and the others that are in there. Think of when we do go legit and this market does mature and the banks come in, take over for all the exchanges, probably 95% of them, they're going to replace them with their own exchange. Then they're going to build their own DeFi, and then they're going to make their own stable coins. So that basket, one-to-one backing, you'll have a Bank of America stable coin in there, an HSBC stable coin in there, and then the governance on that basket is through XMT, which used to be called MTL. Their metal coin, their main exchange coin. That's the governance for that basket. So the level playing field is they each have the ability to go in and scoop up as much as they want to have that share of the basket. So these
Basically,
banks are coming in. What's up?
it's pretty similar to the way the Chinese do their exchange rate, right? They have a basket of every other exchange currency out there, and then they build their exchange rate off of that basket itself. You're kind of doing the same thing with the other stable coins within the system, right?
Well, the
Yeah,
thing
so
is,
that it's just so. Oh, go ahead, James.
the thing is, the reason for that is one, the micro regulations, right, with algorithmic and all that is not allowed in the future. It needs to be collateralized. And I'm sure you're aware of all the shit with Tether, which then also ties into USDC and how if you look at it's kind of funny. If you look at the activity between Tether and USDC, like when one swings one way, the other swings the other. So it's like this seesaw because there's
Literally,
gain.
I'm literally monitoring that at the moment on my lives on TikTok. At the moment, we've got an opposite reaction. We've got like 500 million going from USDC going into USDT, and it's been going that way for like the last 7 or 8 months.
They're attacking them, bro. They're printing fake Tether dollars, and they're fucking over USDC. They're cashing it out over there. It's ridiculous. And Jeremy hasn't figured out a way to stop this yet. And I don't know how much longer they're going to continue to let these motherfucking scumbags continue to do this. It's out of control. 1 billion just printed. Like when we had that pump last week, over and over, all you heard was another 1 billion printed. Out of control.
But
So that's how you
back
feel,
to
bullish.
the stablecoin point. Like that basket can be like readjusted. So, for example, you can take Tether out. So, like we have to assume, right, based on what we know, some of these stablecoins are going to disappear. So, in the future, you're going to have CBDCs and stablecoins from corporations, maybe even state level, depending on the country or whatever. And when that happens, they will be able to be added to the basket and weighted accordingly, and their XMD will be minted based on what's in the basket. So like it's very, very flexible. Whereas if you issue a stable coin which is essentially your own and it's not based on these kind of legally issued ones, you have an issue. Like
Yeah, that was the question I was trying to get to with in the other time of the meeting, because I actually wrote the question in your comment section. Because most stablecoins now, they need to be over 100% backed, right? There needs to be an ability to stress test it, and you need to have if there's a big run on your stablecoin, you need to be able to actually have the backing there 100% to cover it. So they're asking for over 100% collateralization on the back end, and the way that you're describing your basket, though, is just literally we're going to have. But let's just theorize this: 20 USDC, 20 USDT. Total you've got is 40. What do you call it? XMT. You've got 40 XMT. So you've got 40 other stable coins sitting in the background to cover your 40 stable coins that you've got around your environment. Is that how this is going to work, or is it?
XMT is the governance for the basket.
Apologies.
No, it's fine. XMD is metal dollar. And that's the
XMD.
stablecoin. So, but in principle, you're right? So 20 of one, 20 of the other, you mint 40 of XMD. And then you could take the XMD and you could redeem from the basket as well. But like, Tether's not going to be in there in the future.
Okay.
I mean,
I'll
let's just
give
be
you
honest about that.
I'll give you
It's
an
going to be
example.
realistic.
So I think it was about 6 or 8 months ago. BUSD, Binance stablecoin, was in there, and it had an attack on it, and it depegged, and it started going down. Everyone was sucking liquidity out of it, and it was in the basket. So did XMD get affected by that? Absolutely not. All Marshall and Metallicus did was they halted withdrawals on BSUD, and it was business as usual. They took it out of the basket. That was it. That's the reason why we have this basket. Because if one fails, you have the other, the fall back on. It is, from what I've seen, the best way to keep your peg. And I know you've been researching Providence blockchain. They're creating the exact same stablecoin. However, theirs isn't on the market yet, but they're using that same model. So the difference is XMD has been tried and true. It's been tested and it's worked, because we've already had a situation where one of them depegged and it was business as usual. Just halted withdrawals. XMD stayed running, kept its peg because of the other 3 or 4 that were in there currently, and everything was fine. So just imagine when the market matures, these regular private stable coins go away, and we have state regulated stable coins and or bank stable coins in the basket. And
See,
then
that
banks that
confuses
are
me,
building
Bully.
on metal are going to build the same. So let's just say Metal builds for HSBC their own layer one. They're going to build them a stable coin, a basket too, just like XMD.
So, okay, there's a few questions out of that, but I feel like as if I'm hogging the floor with all these questions, guys.
Nah, go ahead, go.
Are you sure? Because so
Yeah,
Absolutely,
Darko,
trust me.
go ahead. You've come up after
no,
the thing last time.
Uh,
You've been respectful,
uh,
so go ahead.
don't be apologetic about having intelligent questions, my friend. Don't.
the
If someone else
the
wants to up, they will put their hand up, and we'll say, "Okay, hang on for a sec. Let's listen to this person." Keep going. If you've got 50 minutes of questions, go for it, bro. It's all good. We're not
I'm
like
just
those other
confused with
people.
the fact that you took BUSD out of the basket. If you've already minted, would that mean that you'd have had to burn off some of your own XMD to cover the fact that you've took BUSD out of your basket, or did you replace that with some other asset in the meantime to cover your reserves?
You replace it. It's a
If
good
you
question.
stop, hang on. If you stopped using DST today, the DST that's already in there would get used up, right? And then, okay, you add another asset. Say it's AUDD. There's a company here in Australia pushing an Australian dollar. So maybe that gets added in the future, and you might need, basically, you'll need another 47% or whatever it is at the moment to make up the gap. But yeah, is that not how it would work mathematically?
No, I think what Dark Horse is getting at, let's say there's a DPEG or a decision to delist like Tether, right? But we've already minted XMD, so you got Tether in the basket, right? You would have to rebalance and cover. The idea, Dark Horse, is that you have so many options that can go in that over time you dilute the single point of failure in one stablecoin. So, for example, we have the PayPal stablecoin in there, and you have other private ones that are legal. I mean, I don't know if that one is. If it's not, it's going to get delisted. No, in Metallicus. But in the future, once you have regulation and compliant stables, they will go in. So if you imagine you have 100 stables, all equal weighting, one of them depegs, you've got a 1% problem, and you shuffle a basket and you cover that. Whereas if you had one stablecoin and it depegs, you have the whole Luna fiasco, and everyone gets wrecked. And that's basically what it covers for, is that scenario. But that's a very good question, because yes, it would have to be covered on the back end.
Marshall actually was on, I don't know if it was Bankless. It was one, I forgot the show. I could probably find it after I'm done here. But when that whole fiasco happened with BUSD, he actually went on one of these big shows and talked about exactly how they did it. They halted withdrawals, drained the basket, and business as usual. If you can remind me later, if you're still interested, I'll find that interview that he did. But
See,
yeah,
I'm
man.
interested in this because it's a stablecoin based on baskets. You've got a higher risk in terms of the pegging of those stablecoins. You've also got the FX rates of those stablecoins to deal with at the same time, because I'm assuming that you're not just using USD stablecoins. You're going to be probably using the EURUS. You'll be using a multitude of different FX rate stablecoins to actually prop up your own. Then on top of that, if any of them do depeg, then you're going to have a risk of your own stablecoin depegging. Then you've got the other question of is what regulation would it be falling under to be deemed a stablecoin?
The one that Marshall's been working with Patrick McHenry on to pass through Congress. And
Yes,
this
I
is
wanted to
something
tell you that before.
I remember you saying, but I didn't want to say out in one of these spaces just in case it wasn't known.
Well, don't worry, blame me. It's on me, guys. It's not recorded space. You didn't hear. But no, this is the thing. Like, these guys don't miss a trick. This is what people need to understand. They dot their I's, they cross their T's. And sometimes some decisions, because we have our viewpoint in the DeFi world and we're exposed to certain things and go, oh, that doesn't make sense. But then in time, when you see the direction and how things are going, it does make sense. And it just takes a bit of that time to settle. And, a lot of the stuff that you're seeing going through the political conversation right now, they've had the conversations, they've been involved. And the system is reflective. They've built it in a way, everything is about being compliant. By the book. That's why if you go to the DEX now, you don't have 200,000 shitcoins on there. And, oh, Pepe will do this, and everyone apes in, gets rugged. And on to the next flavor of the month shitcoin and get rugged. Because they're not going to go down that path. And there's a lot of people who are mad because they can't make 1,000x gain. And, oh, Metallicus sucks because they don't list XYZ. Well, they're playing it by the book. And they've got the advisory board that is guiding them to do things by the book. And they've got the C-level execs that have the right contacts and experience to do it by the book. And that's how they will do it. And the partnerships, Jack Henry, Fiserv, Temenos, FedNow, even on the NFT side, they went with a seasoned player in the industry, Rarible. They didn't want to go with any NFT exchange. It was Rarible. That is known and has a track record for tokenization products. They only want to work with the best in class. And they only want to do things the right way. And when you do that, it takes time.
Yep, they want to
Go
work
ahead.
on real world assets with these NFTs. They don't want to be doing no art or anything like that. And it's a real deal partnership, and I can't wait to see what they come up with this partnership. But yeah, the blockchain Regulatory Certainty Act, that's going through. So be prepared. And guess who helped write that behind the scenes? Marshall was right there every step of the way helping Tom Emmer with that.
I'm glad you're saying this out in the spaces because you've told me this before, and I've kept my mouth shut on because I didn't know if it was public knowledge or not. So I'm glad that you're saying it out in these spaces because at least I can't get into trouble now.
Yeah, fuck me, right?
Bullish.
Well, as long as you don't have like the FBI sitting behind you, Dagos, like, I think we're good.
No, I'm in the UK like you, James. We've probably got the MI6 watching us. It's definitely not the FBI. Just coming back to that though, the basket exchange for the stable coins. I don't remember seeing that in the regulations. I would. I mean, we've got in the FC. James, you know what's going on at the moment with the UK, where we're looking at the FCA. They're classing it as foreign stable coins, and they're classing it as allowance through on the payment side, foreign payment methods. They're calling it, but it's stable coins themselves. Would it definitely be deemed the XMD be deemed a stable coin, or would it just be an asset backed utility token?
I'm gonna be honest, Ethos. Like, I've not lived in the UK for a long time. I've been in the Czech Republic for 8 years. That is not something I'm familiar with or been looking into, so I'm not gonna comment on it. If I don't know, I just hold my hands up and say I don't know.
It's a
No, it's good, mate.
fantastic topic for my show with Marshall. So keep that, hold it in the queue. And when I have my first episode with him, definitely bring that up. I'll make sure to bring you up and we'll talk about that because that's interesting. I didn't realize what was going on with in the EU regards to stables. So that's a great topic to bring up to him because I'm sure he's ahead of the curve when it comes to that.
But Ethos,
Bullish
you're
this
talking
week.
about the UK, right? Not the EU.
Yeah, I'm talking about the UK, but you've also got the EU, which is kind of running a similar sort of methodology with this. So, Bullish, this week has been a massive CBDC and stablecoin PDF like mayhem to read. I've posted a bit of it. I'll tag you in a couple of things that might bring you up to what they're looking at. The BIS have literally wrote this report called "Will the real stablecoin please stand up?" And in that, it broke down every single stablecoin, its backing, what it's backed by, and looked at how they depeg, the dangers behind them, CBDCs, and how they're better than stablecoins. Blah blah blah. I'll tag you in, Bullish. I'll tag you in.
Yes,
But
please, as much information as we can so we can with him all the as much content, hold that in the queue. We're definitely bringing it up to him. That's a great topic to bring up. This is why
because
we
I
need
think
you around, buddy.
stable coins are going to be like I said in that post and that digital asset read as well, is stable coins will be the starting point for the banks. They really will, because at the end of the day, the problem with transactions at the moment on any network is you have to use an exchange to on-ramp. You need to use an exchange to on-ramp, which comes at a cost. Then you have an exchange to transact your fiat into another token. That's going to cost you. Then when you send it to somebody else, that's going to cost you on the transaction itself. Then when that other person then has to off-ramp it into fiat, that's another cost as well. Whereas if they could just leave it in a stable coin and they can leave it on the network and they know it's always backed by one, then it takes some of the cost of the actual main transaction out of play, which is why I think stable coins will be the biggest thing for the banks to actually get on board with on the crypto world. Because if they can keep their money in liquid actually on the network rather than having to take it out and put it into their own realms of zeros and ones, and they can leave it in a stable coin I hate stable coins. They're boring as hell, but they will become I think they will become the central pivot for the banks to be able to transact in crypto asset world, and that's what we were waiting for, right? We're waiting for them to bring that money, and then we're going to see massive amount of liquidity being pumped into stable coins. Hey, we've lost Bullish.
I think you're right, Darkos. It's just like, what's the balance and where? But I mean, it's clear the algorithmic stuff is out the window.
Well, there was an event for CBDCs, and they had 3 banks there. I've got a recording somewhere. I never actually posted it. They actually talked about algorithmic stablecoins, and every single bank started laughing. There's like, no, we've tested that. We're not going to use that. We've seen what can happen with algorithmics. They can't be worked. They can't be used. There was all just laughing at the thought of them actually using algorithmic stablecoins, James.
And I get it, because like at the end of this is the thing. people, the whole idea around decentralization, people think that means anarchy and I can do what I want without recourse. When, in my opinion, like, I don't even want to live in that world. That's, you know, go live in Somalia in a pirate state, and I bet most of you would be like begging to come back very quickly. At the same time, I don't want to live in a, you know, a dystopian hell, totalitarian state as well, where you know, so we need a balance. Now, for me, the balance is having things on chain where I can verify liabilities, proof of reserves, the whole equation, and see what is real. So it's not a go to CZ and go to these guys and, oh yeah, everything's comfy, trust me, bro. You know, all of that shit, which obviously is not, right? The same with like Bitfinex with Tether. Like, yeah, don't worry, everything's fine, you know. Don't worry, just print another billion. Oh, everything's green, you know. At some point, that shit needs to stop. And all the big players are watching, all the government officials, and, you know, you speak to C-suite execs in the corporate world. I've done it. I've been sat there at tables in the past, you know, over dinner, and crypto comes up amongst other subjects, and oh yes, fraud is a scam. And that is a reputation that certain actors in the industry have brought on us as a whole. And they will regulate some of that out, but a lot of people in the industry will also say enough's enough, because they want to legally make profit and get in the right assets, and, you know, it might take a bit longer, but people would rather do things, you know, take a bit longer and know that it's going to stand the test of time, rather than go up and down and, oh, now I need to hold the bag for 3 years and all this shit. And will the printer ever go back on, right? And the reality is, the centralized system is not going away. So all the stables, everything is going to tie back to what is issued by the Federal Reserve. And it's going to have to sum up and be accountable back to that Federal Reserve centralized system. But then when it comes into the decentralized world, we need to have the expectation that we can see everything on chain. And that is, and also self-custody. That is the real ethos of decentralization, the ability for me to hold stuff in my own wallet, interact with certain services and things that I want to of my own accord, revoke permissions when I want to. The same over data. Like, I mean, look at all these social network companies. Facebook with Cambridge Analytica scandal, like, all of that should be in your wallet. And if you want to revoke that data in the future, you should be able to do it. I don't trust you with that. All my data is staying here, and I'll give you permission to use it when it suits me, and when it doesn't, you're not having access to it anymore. And then everything's on chain to make sure the numbers add up. So here's the thing. I don't need to trust Marshall or the team, because I can go and check the chain. So when people talk a lot of bollocks in the space and go, oh, Marshall and Metallicus can do X, Y, Z, blah, 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 and I can go look at the XPR treasury and affiliated accounts, where's the money flows, etc., and all of that. Is it going through centralized exchanges, etc., and I can see what's going on. Because you can also do off-chain analysis. And then you will find they have just under $1 billion of XPR in the XPR treasury. You will find the total supply is 28. Circulating supply is around 24, because there's money set aside for marketing grants. So when I see the FUD, doesn't matter. All the FUD's bullshit. The chain doesn't lie. Don't need to trust anyone on social media. Go look at the chain. And that's how it should be. And that's the whole point of crypto. Now, when it comes to Binance and all of these, that's not the case. If you have your stuff on the chain, you don't know if they're commingling funds. You don't know if they're, you know, if CZ's taking a loan against the assets that they're holding so he can go and chill in the Bahamas with like 20 hookers. You don't know. Nobody had a clue what FTX was doing until after the fact, and everyone got wrecked. So we should 100% be against that. And what Metallicus has built is the ecosystem, which is the answer to all the fuckery that we've had to put up with in the crypto industry to date.
I've just read one of the comments underneath. Where is it? It's gone. There's a guy that's just said, Dark Horse, every time you come into here, you always ask the same questions. You best retain this information this time. With have you got
Question, please. I have a question, sir.
X Adam, you're coming through a little bit broken up there, and you maybe get back from the speaker just a little bit.
Okay. What does metal have to do?
Yeah,
Sound like a
go
robot.
away.
Yeah, I haven't got time for that. He's got XRP plus in his feed. I mean,
That's okay.
good luck. Good luck with that. I mean, even the XRP guys are not going that far. Like,
I was about to say that's Zahab. Guys, this has been a great conversation. I'm gonna have to bow out. And thanks very much, guys. That stablecoin stuff, I'd really like to touch more on at some point, Bullish.
Cheers, buddy.
I'm very interested in how this basket stuff actually works.
Cheers, buddy.
So I appreciate it, guys.